All right, so let's talk about buying models in connected television. We'll start with direct IOs, or direct insertion orders. This is how things were traditionally bought in media, where you have one seller, could be a publisher, could be a broadcaster, depending on whether you're talking desktop, mobile, or CTV, and then you have one buyer, which traditionally was coming all the way from an agency, which represented a brand. And these one-to-one deals were sitting in the campaign level of an ad server. And when you got into the internet, when you got into desktop websites, mobile websites, etc., these were the only way to get your ads onto those websites. And they had pacing algorithms, right? So you could say, I want to serve 1 million impressions within Q1, and then you might have it pace where it front loads a little bit, and then it has a curve that slowly declines to get to the amount of impressions you wanted to serve at the end of the campaign. And there's rules around it, like you only want to serve the same ad to the same household or the same person 3 times within 1 day or 3 times within a week. So you have all of these rules and everything for direct IOs. So that was where internet advertising started. And then programmatic came into play, right? So that's everything below the line here, SSPs and DSPs. So a SSP came in to be the partner for the publisher. That's why there's supply-side platform. The DSP came in to be the partner of the holding companies and agencies, demand-side platform. And then with open market, the way it works is an auction is held for the inventory that's available. So let's say, for instance, these direct IOs were sold, and we'll go back to CTV for now. And you have your pod or your ad break with 5 slots in it, and you've sold the first 4. They're sold out with your direct deals, with direct to brands, direct to agencies, and you have 1 left. So you would send that through the programmatic pipes so that an open auction can be held, and you get the highest amount or the highest bid for that available slot. And it can be based on contextual targeting, it can be based on addressable targeting, like who that user is, where they are, etc., etc. But that's open market. So open market came into play, and it used to be just a tag within an ad server back when Google Ad Manager was DFP, or double click for publishers. The open market was just just a tag that sat in the ad server that competed at a different tier than the direct sold, but it dropped down to that level to fill whatever wasn't filled by direct sold. All right, so in between here, header bidding came into play and all that stuff. You can actually watch another one of my videos to talk about header bidding versus unified auction to tell the difference between those two, so I'm not going to get into that here. We're just talking about buying models today. But after the open market came PMPs, or private marketplaces. So this takes the best things of both worlds. You get the best of direct insertion orders and the best of an open market, and you have a private marketplace. So a publisher can say, I have all of my inventory related to automotive, right? And they might want to package that together in a set of inventory that's available to buy. And then they have a certain number of brands that they've agreed with, and it's a subset, right? So it's not an open market anymore. It's not everybody can bid. You have a certain amount of brands that you're going to allow to bid on your inventory, so it's more curated to the type of brands you want serving on your inventory. And you set a price, right? So you say, this is going to be worth $10, and you can pay for it, or you can bid on it, or you can not bid on it. It's up to you, but this is the deal we have. If you want to bid, it's going to cost you $10, and I'm guaranteeing you that this is the inventory you're going to see. The way that this is transacted is with what's known as a deal ID. And it's not super complicated. It's just a alphanumeric set of characters. We'll just say ABC123 for now. That traverses its way from the ad server down to the DSP and back again, so that it can be used for targeting. So an ad server says ABC123 is relevant to this deal, this PMP. So it doesn't have to include anything else in the bid stream that needs to be targeted, because it's not for open market, it's a PMP, right? So you can obfuscate more of your data and keep it to yourself, and sell directly to an agency, brand, or whoever your partner is, and they can guarantee that when they see ABC 123, they're getting that automotive inventory, and they know that they're going to have to pay $10 if they want you to serve their bid. All right, so that's PMP. There's several types of PMPs. There are single pub, there's multi-pub, so it could be at the SSP level. An SSP sets up a PMP package where they have all of their automotive publishers, and they call it ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is they want to have. And then that makes its way into the DSP, so the DSPs know for their brands that all of ABC 1, 2, 3, 4 is automotive across N number of publishers, and they know what they're buying there. Within PMP, there is set price, and there's also biddable. So you can have a biddable PMP where the price isn't set or agreed upon, but you know what you're getting on the inventory side, and you know which brands you're allowing to buy. So it's a little bit more towards the open market side of the combination of direct IO and open market, but it is still a combination of the two. Lastly is PG, or Programmatic Guaranteed. This came as another evolution of this chain here. So we had publishers who want to have that one-to-one relationship, but also see the value of the programmatic chain and the value of not having to do paperwork, the value of having real-time decisioning, and that's where Programmatic Guaranteed came in. So you can have this same one-to-one relationship where a publisher makes a deal with an agency or brand, and they guarantee that they're going to serve whatever inventory it is. Again, we can say automotive. And now the brand is saying, not only am I going to pay you $10, but I'm guaranteeing you 1 million impressions over the quarter, right? So it gets closer to the direct IO method, where the biddable PMP is closer to open market, the PG is closer to direct IO. So if you want to guarantee what you're selling in a fashion similar to direct buys, but you want the flexibility of a programmatic auction, then PG is the right move. And for CTV, which of course is what we're talking about in most of these videos that I'm doing, a lot of the inventory is transacted on Programmatic Guaranteed, and that's because the inventory quality is so high, right? So the broadcasters want to make sure that the right brands that they trust, that they want serving next to their inventory, are the ones they're making deals with. They know that they have high value inventory that has a premium price attached to it, so they can ask for a certain rate on a Programmatic Guaranteed deal and not have it be biddable or open market. So that's where PG deals come into play. So when you have that high value premium inventory, PG is going to be the majority of what's sold, along with direct IOs, but PGs are taking more and more of the share every year. When you start talking about FAST, so FAST, again, from my previous video, was free ad-supported television, or even some VMVPDs that have a list of channels, or an EPG, electronic programming guide, a list of channels that you can tune into. There's several of those out in the market. When you have that type of inventory, you might see more of an open market or biddable PMP more than a PG or direct IO, because these businesses are just starting. They're just starting to get their foothold. And when I say just starting, they've been around for years, but when you compare them to broadcasters, they're just starting. So they're not out there doing upfronts yet, all of the things that come with being a large broadcaster on a global scale. So they might not have the same ability to sign PGs and direct IOs at the beginning of the year that will then fulfill their needs through the remainder of the year. So these are the buying models. That's the difference. In CTV in particular, I see it continuing to grow in Programmatic Guaranteed when you talk about premium inventory. But then for FAST and VMVPDs, I still see a strong need for open market and PMP, and those are flourishing. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.